Hello to all viewers of the YouTube channel Electrician 1. In today's video we will talk about the intermediate switch and its connection. In today's video we will talk about the intermediate switch and its connection. We will learn more about its purpose, how it is connected in the electrical circuit, and what does it enable to our users. First, as always, we will start theoretically and see the wiring scheme and then do it in practice. The intermediate switch is used in electric lighting circuits when it is necessary to turn on one light bulb from more than two places, and is always located between two-way switches. There is one two-way switch on the ends and an intermediate switch between them. Let's take a look at the various types of switches we can install in general. A one-way switch has two connection points and is used for the most common turning on/off of a light bulb. Two-way switches have three connection points marked here with red dots, and it is very important to find a common point when connecting circuits with two-way switches. The bottom picture below shows the intermediate switch between a pair of two-way switches. We note that the intermediate switch has four connection points. Here we see a close-up of the intermediate switch between a pair of two-way switches. If it is necessary to turn one light bulb from more than three locations, then we can do it in the following way. As we can see here, we will place as many intermediate switches as we need between the two-way switches that are external. In this case, they would have the possibility of turning on this light source from 6 different locations. Since it is first necessary to connect the two-way switches, now we will remind you how to connect them. Here we have two-way switches, so the first and second one. It is necessary to first determine the common point in the two-way switch, and it is usually marked with the letter L, but if it isn't, we can determine it in a simple way. We will determine it by looking for two connection points as shown in the picture here, between which we place an ohm meter set to work as a buzzer and change the position of the switch. When we have found 2 points between which no audible signal will be heard in any position, the common point is the third one, the free one. And now that we have determined the common point of our two-way switches, we will start with the connection. Therefore, we bring the phase to a common point in the first two-way switch, and from the second two-way switch, we lead the output from the reference point L to the light bulb. We just connect the remaining 2 points of the two-way switches to each other, and it doesn't matter how we do it. So we have this variant or this one, the function will be the same. And now let's try to do it in practice. Here we can see 3 switches that allow the light bulb to be turned on and off from each of those 3 locations. We saw in the diagrams that the two ends are two-way switches and the middle one is the intermediate switch. The external appearance does not differ at all, so we can distinguish them only by the number of connection points. Now we will see the connection points of the two-way switch. Common connection point is marked as L1 and 2 secondary ones are marked with exit arrows. With the intermediate switch, we have 4 connection points, so 2 marked as L1 and L2, and outputs marked with arrows, this one and this one here. And now let's connect the circuit with 2 two-way switches. We lead the neutral conductor directly from the source to the consumer. Then, we lead phase from the source to the common point of our two-way switch. It is labeled as L1. And from the second two-way switch from the common point we lead it from the consumer to our light bulb. Both two-way switches have 2 free connection points. Now we just need to connect them to each other with conductors. Therefore, the neutral conductor is directly taken to the consumer, the phase comes to the first two-way switch, from the second two-way switch, we lead the phase to the consumer, and we just connect these 2 connection points to each other. And now let's try how it works. So we can turn it on using both of them. Let's go back to our two-way switch. We have connected them, but we can present them a bit differently. And here is our diagram. The first wires of the two-way switch lead to the first junction box, from the first junction box to the second, and to the second two-way switch. And now we need to insert an intermediate switch between them. How are we going to do that? We will have to disconnect these two wires here, so we disconnect them and install an intermediate switch. Here we can see how it should be connected, so it is very important not to mix up the input and output connection points. The input points of some switch models are marked with L1 and L2 and the output points with arrows, as you can see here. And now we can do it in practice on our model. Here's our two-way switch circuit, and now we're going to insert an intermediate switch between them. So, as we saw in the sketches and diagrams, we break the circuit between the two-way switches and we will insert the intermediate switch here. The ends of the conductors are prepared, the sleeves are placed, and all that remains is to connect our intermediate switch. Here are the two entry points labeled as L1 and L2. And from these two output points we go to the final two-way switch. Our electrical circuit with two two-way switches and one intermediate switch is ready, and now we will try it and see how it works. We turn it on using one switch and then the other one. It is a function enabled by an intermediate switch. If we need to turn it on/off from more than 3 locations, it is only necessary to install an appropriate number of intermediate switches between the end two-way switches. Thanks for watching this video. Please share it with your friends and invite them to subscribe to the YouTube channel Electrician 1. Kind regards until the next video.